Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Part 3, dude. I didn't think we were gonna be here, Max. I didn't think so. I was like, 2's enough. 3. All right, we're getting out of hand here. It's getting out of hand. Max, how you doing today, my brother?
I am doing good, bro. I'm a little bit in a state of shock, I would say. I think we texted each other like, oh, so we're not doing a part 3, right? You're like, nah, I think it's all done.
Yeah.
It wasn't, clearly.
It's fucking insane, dude. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Hit that like button, comment down below. You guys have been killing it lately on our MJC clips. We're gonna continue to keep on doing those. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 5-star rate us there. Subscribe on there. It helps us out. Excuse my voice. I'm a little stuffed up. I got a little allergies going on. But if that's the case, Max, go ahead and steer the ship, my boy.
I feel like we should kind of like do a timeline of things, right? So me and you started, we're like, part 3, we're not gonna have to do it. Let's just like relax. We'll get our NFL draft stuff too.
Right.
And the Chiefs, they signed Juju Smith, like a few days ago? And
Yeah.
we're like, that's a good move. Tyreek, Juju, Kelsey, that looks good.
No.
And then the Dolphins, they signed the best left tackle in free agency, Teron Armstead. We're like, that's a good move. We liked it.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't even talked about it. We weren't really going to talk about it.
No.
And this morning, it's literally just reported. I didn't hear any whispers. I don't know if you did. Adam Scheffler says the Jets and the Dolphins, they're in the market for Tyreek Hill. They both have offers. And maybe an hour later, Tyreek Hill's a Dolphin. He's not a Chief. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Wow. Yeah, I think I woke up probably like 10 minutes after the news dropped that he got traded. But god damn, that shit was fast. Like, I see my past notifications, and like you said, it was like Jets and Dolphins interest. Like, that shit happened quick, dude. Let me pull up the trade details for you guys. For the audio listeners, Max, go ahead and tell them the details.
So the Dolphins let me save the Dolphins. The Chiefs get for Tyreek Hill a 2022 first-round pick, which is the 29th in this draft, the 2022 second-round pick, which is the 50th, a 4th this year, and then the next year they're going to get a 4th and a 6th. The Dolphins get Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill gets rewarded with a 4-year, $120 million contract with $72 million guaranteed at signing. Or not $72 million guaranteed at signing, but $72 million guaranteed throughout the contract.
So this is the way I heard it. It's $120 million total. You get that signing bonus, but the rest of the guaranteed is guaranteed after the first year. So the beginning of the 2023 season is when he'll get paid that if he's still on the roster in case some crazy AB shit happens.
I mean, is it crazy? I mean, he's Tyreek Hill. He kind of had a checkered past, and that's no disrespect to him. It's just a fact.
No, most definitely. You gotta put some type of thing on it, and
protection if you're the team for Tyreek Hill. I mean, it was a couple years ago where he was suspended 8 games for domestic abuse with his son. The Chiefs gave him a contract even after that, and he's been a great football player for them.
But the Chiefs lucked out at that time. Like,
yeah,
this is why
I think they got him on a little bit of a discount because of all the crap happening to him. And the Chiefs, let's be real, they took a swing at this guy after coming out of college. He got dismissed from Oklahoma State for domestic abuse. It happened again once he was in the NFL. They stood by him again. And this time, there was no incident this time, but he wanted money, and the Chiefs weren't going to give him that money. Let's put it simple like that. The Jets were talked about getting him. They got a lot more from the Dolphins. Dolphins are making some moves, man, but I texted you this morning. Does this make Kansas City the worst team in the division? It was with group text between you and Joey. Joey goes, they have the best quarterback still. That's true, but if you have the best quarterback, you're going to get rid of the best receiver in football potentially, or let's just say the most dangerous receiver in football that opens up the whole offense so a 33-year-old tight end and Travis Kelce can do his thing underneath.
Yeah. I mean, this is what made them special. Patrick Mahomes, fantastic. Travis Kelce, as advertised. But Tyreek Hill, he brought a different type of element. And I would say he transformed the game today. Like, How many teams are trying to find their Tyreek Hill? I seen it. I had front row seats to it. Henry Ruggs with the Raiders. They were trying to build like the Kansas City Chiefs, that deep vertical offense. And let's just be straight up. Like, there's no one out there like Tyreek Hill. There's no one out there like him.
Well,
He's
that's
a one
perfect.
of
You
a
said
kind
that.
player.
That's perfect. You said that because you talked about Henry Ruggs. So if I'm just a casual fan, I think, oh, who's the fastest guys in the NFL? Henry Ruggs before Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf. Throw in maybe Rondale Moore, whoever else you want.
I wouldn't even
Jamar
throw
Chase.
in. Yeah, I think Jamar Chase is probably. It's just them two.
Are they in the same class as Tyreek Hill?
I will put Jamar Chase in the same class as Tyreek Hill.
Maybe straight line, dude, but I just think the explosiveness from Tyreek, the little jitterbug cuts. Like, for me, everyone's been chasing him since he got into the NFL, literally and metaphorically. They're all trying to find him. And it's not just his speed that makes him good. We've seen plenty of fast guys who can't play dead. No. He literally put the speed together, and I get they manufacture some of the yards for him on sweeps, but do they win that game in Buffalo if they don't have Tyreek Hill? What happens in the playoff game next year?
Look, I said it in the group text. I think we're always comparing the Chiefs to the Warriors, especially me and you. And to me, it's like they just lost Klay Thompson.
Why
That's
Klay?
Who Tyreek Hill. I think it's because they both have that ability, Max, which you're always talking about with Klay. When he's hot. Like, he can drop like 50 to 60 points. And I think it's the same thing with Tyreek Hill. He can open up the game on any given play for an 80-yard just fucking straight line speed run and passing the whole defense, and he's saying peace in the end zone. Like, that's who Tyreek Hill is.
Do you remember the game against Tampa Bay last year in the regular season, or 2 years ago in the regular season, where he had 200 receiving yards in the first half?
Yeah,
that's gone. That right there. How many receivers do you say, oh man, he had 200 yards? No, that's Tyreek Hill. Really, that's his specialty. Where it's hugely just wow. He had so many yards. It's just feast. And sometimes it can be famine with him, and that's not a. Yeah, that's just kind of the nature of his.
That's
game.
That's why you can't put in stats with Tyreek Hill. Like, you can't just look at the stats and be like, oh, why is this guy so good? It's like, it's all the other stuff. It's the element that he brings. It's the defense with Klay, stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. With Tyreek Hill, it's literally picking your poison. It's like, oh, we can't bracket Kelsey because we have this motherfucker running a 40-yard deep post at fucking 26 miles per hour. It's unheard of.
With football, it's like 11 on 11, right? I feel like when you have Tyreek Hill, it's literally 9 on 11, 9 on 10, maybe. Because what I mean by that is, like, you have to commit the corner to him. And it's like, okay, let's have someone over the top of our corner. We have to do this, or it's going to be really a long day for us. We saw teams who try to cover him one-on-one with no safety help. Toast my ghost.
They don't win the Super Bowl, Max, without Tyreek Hill.
Absolutely not. And they have a guy.
Wasp. You can't run Wasp with
Jet Wasp.
Mecole Hardman.
And they have Mecole Hardman on the team, and he's supposed to be Tyreek Insurance. Everyone said when they drafted him, it's Tyreek Insurance because of the domestic violence. He ain't even in the fucking ballpark, Juan.
Yeah, he showed last year. He's not there. And this is crazy, bro. Like, as everyone is fucking loading up in the AFC West, you know what the Raiders did, you know what the Chargers did, you know what the Broncos did. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they're fucking unloading. They're getting rid of their players. And I would rather give up Kelsey first rather than give up Tyreek Hill. It's so puzzling. It's so puzzling because it's crazy to think that you give up a weapon like this. And I think the next question to ask Max, what's the reason why? Like, what do you think it is? I don't think it's a character thing. Like, I don't think nothing's wrong with him as far as like some legal stuff is coming up.
If it was a character thing, he would have been gone a long time ago. Let's just put it like that. I truly think it's because he's 28. You're going to commit a lot of money in him, and I don't think they want to do that. And maybe the NFL wants shifting, where we've always talked about the most valuable thing in the NFL, or let's say the most valuable property in the NFL is a rookie first-round quarterback who's really freaking good, right? Because it gives you all that flexibility. How far behind is a rookie first-round receiver? in value to a quarterback?
I mean, as of late, the last 5 years, I don't think it's as close. It's not that
Because,
close.
I mean, Tyreek Hill for $20 million a year, you're like, woof, F, yeah. Same thing with Devontae Adams. We're like $20 million a year. We're loving it.
No.
But when it gets to 30, you're like, that's a lot of money for one guy.
Right.
So maybe their philosophy is we can kind of do this as a system. And let's not forget, when the Texans traded Deshaun Watson, I know the results weren't good, but he had his best year statistically.
Yeah.
Or when they traded DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know if I said it backwards. I'm sorry.
That's fine and all, but I
hate it. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I effing hate it. I
can't
believe we did it. I understand you got a grip. You got a whole draft class basically for Tyreek Hill, which just shows how valuable he is. And it's just, like I said, like you put it perfectly. And that's why I texted that this morning. Are they the worst team in the division now? When every team's loading, gearing up, you just were like, let us help close the gap for you. If we're here and everyone else is here trading Tyreek, sorry, audio listeners, you're going to just make the gap closer. So if you're a 10, if the Chiefs are a 10 and everyone else is a 7, the Chiefs are like, oh, we'll just be an 8. Let's be an 8 for you guys to catch up to us.
Look, I get it, Max, that whole reload with the wide receiver, because it seems like every year in the draft for the last like 5 years, it's you're going to find one of those guys. And that's easier said than done.
But here's one. You don't find Tyreek Hill. You can find Devontae Adams, you can find D-Hop, you can find top tier talent. You don't find his skill set often, if ever.
No. It's just speed. You can't teach speed.
No.
And the fact that he's not a gadget guy, as we know. He's not a gadget guy. And I can understand if you're the Chargers, and their situation with Mike Williams, a guy that came up, contract extension, you wind up coming off because he's costing a lot of money. You say, you know what? We're going to move on. We're going to get a first-round receiver, because receivers grow on trees these days. I get that. But like you said, it's the one-of-a-kind in Tyreek Hill.
Does
can't
this
find
mean
another Tyreek.
An identity shift for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think this changes everything. I mean, look, the offseason's not over. Let's see what they do. But no one, in my opinion, that's in the NFL is going to be able to replace him. I don't care if you get DK Metcalf. I don't care if you get who else are they in the running for? Like Chris Olave and all these guys from Ohio State. I don't care. They're not Tyreek Hill. Look, we have established this in the draft, Max. You have had front row seats to it. You guys got it right 1 year and got it right the second year. First year, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson. Oh, yeah, the easy pick is Justin Jefferson. Oh, wait, the Eagles went fucking Jalen Reagor, the bust.
Thank you for reminding me of this awesomeness.
And then the next year was Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that. It's 50-50. And you can say that Patrick Mahomes can work with anybody. It's just, it brings a whole different element to having to deal with Tyreek Hill. I'm fucking stunned. I'm stunned that they did this.
This would be like the Colts in their heyday trading Marvin Harrison with Peyton Manning. It's just like he's a part of the identity of this team. And I don't think you can say that about a lot of wide receivers to their team. There might not be a wide receiver more important to his team's success than Tyreek Hill, but they shipped him off to Miami. If you want to shift to their side of things, you talked about how the Raiders drafted Henry Ruggs. The Dolphins got their guy in Jalen Waddle, who was supposed to be their Tyreek Hill, but now they have Tyreek Hill. The only problem is their quarterback has a noodle for an arm. So maybe there probably won't be a lot of deep throws, but I'm guessing they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to take a deep shot, maybe a deep post. And one good thing about Tyreek is if he runs a 20-yard dig, he might take that bitch 80 yards.
Look, I'm not even thinking of it like that. I don't even think he's going to be dangerous from that aspect. I think that part of his game, running a 40-yard post, down the field with Patrick Mahomes, is not going to be existent. That's just something you're not going to be able to do with.
No, I'm talking about you get him the ball at like 15 yards downfield on a dig and just let him.
Yeah, and he can catch.
That's got to be it, because
yeah,
this is one of the least strong arms in football, I would say.
Yeah, but I think he went to literally the best situation for him other than the Chiefs, believe it or not. I really do think so. Look at last. I know if everyone wants to give all the credit to Kyle Shanahan, go ahead. Okay. But if you read deeper into the lines, McDaniel was a big part of Kyle Shanahan's offense. And what did they do? What did they do with a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo and Deebo Samuel? They made Deebo Samuel look like an all-pro receiver without having to go downfield all that often. Where does Deebo Samuel value come from? It's not catching a fucking 60-yard, 70-yard bombs like Jamar Chase. It's the creative ways to getting them the ball. And when I think of Tyreek Hill, yeah, you think of the bombs with Patrick Mahomes. But what about the end arounds? What about the jet sweeps? Like, he's just as valuable of just getting the ball in his hands. And I think other than Kyle Shanahan, like Mike McDaniels is probably the best situation out there for him. Like, just to get on the ball. Like, yeah, it sucks that Tua has a fucking noodle arm. I get it. I'm not a big fan of him. But Mike McDaniel just got done with a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo getting a team to the playoffs with an offense looking pretty good at times with the guy who can't throw the ball down the field. And Jimmy wasn't throwing bombs. It was all run game and gadget shit with Deebo Samuel and, George Kittle making shit after the catch. It was all about that. And if you look at the pieces with the Dolphins, it's not just Tyreek Hill that they have. Like you said, they signed Teron Armstead. They're starting to get the line together. They got Raheem Mostert, a running back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. But hey, you can say that about any NFL player going into the season. It's football. People get hurt. And then you add Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Like, imagine the shit that they're going to do in the backfield with all the different fucking design runs that they can do. And just confuse the living shit out of linebackers. Like, if I'm a linebacker and I play in the AFC East, I'm going to fucking hate it. I'm going to fucking hate it. It's going to be all window dressing in the backfield with these motherfuckers. And I'm excited for them. I hate the ownership for the Dolphins. I'm not changing my point of view about Steve Ross, whatever his name is. But Mike McDaniels as a coach on the offensive side, I love the pieces that they got, and I'm loving the future for it. And as far as Tua, I wouldn't be so quick to say that Tyreek Hill's going to hate it over there just to assume that he can't throw big or can't throw deep down the field.
Does this officially, like, what is this? Does it, like, if it was a 6 or what was Tua's like hot seat at before this trade?
Oh man, I think it's at, it was already hot as it is.
So now it's on fucking fire.
Yeah, I mean, now
you're getting or get off the pot.
Now you're getting into expectations field. I think that's how it got hotter. I think at first, before this trade, it was more like, okay, no more excuses. Like, we're going to give you the tools to do this. And there's not going to be any excuses. Now it's like, okay, now we got expectations. Now we expect our offense to be good. But I have faith in Tua like people have faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, yeah, he's not going to probably winning the game, but Mike McDaniels and Kyle Shanahan find out ways to have an explosive offense with a mediocre quarterback. We've seen it with Jimmy, and Tua and Jimmy are very similar. Like, if I would say, like, Tua coming out of college, like, he was still an accurate guy. He can throw.
I think he's more accurate than Jimmy on the short
Yeah,
stuff.
you can argue that. But, they both throw stupid picks. They both don't have a big arm. And they're pretty crazy in the fucking pocket. Like, once they start doing Playmaker Jimmy or Playmaker Tua, it's a fucking bad recipe. But you know what? Like I said, Kyle Shanahan, they managed it last year. They made it work.
Dude, they were one drop pick away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill, I would say, is a better version of Deebo Samuel in that offense. And just look at what Deebo Samuel did.
Those are bold words, but I like it. And you said this is going to be like the Niners East. So Trent Williams, that's Teron Armstead.
Right.
Deebo is Tyreek. Jalen Waddle's probably a better version of Ayuk. Gesicki, is he just as good as Kittle right now.
Poor man's Kittle.
Poor man's Kittle, just as good. Look, he doesn't get hurt that much, which is good. And then I think the running game, it's never going to be you're going to need a bell cow for this. You're just going to need your 4 guys who are solid. The run game will make them look better than they are. Their offensive line, it's a little solidified. I think that's the big question mark, because the Niners O-line's been very good the last few years, even without like top tier talent. And the Dolphins can get just, I would say, good O-line play. They're going to be dangerous on offense, one for the case you just laid out. I think the Dolphins won this trade. I understand you gave up a first. It wasn't their first round pick. Pretty sure that's the Niners pick they traded.
Now, I'm going to say this. He just turned 28. Devontae Adams was, 29? And the same reasons why I said with Devontae, I said I wouldn't really worry about his age because his game doesn't predicate off speed. That's the opposite with Tyreek Hill. I know he just turned 28, but maybe it's a reason why the Chiefs are letting him go. You know, they're saying, hey, maybe that speed is going to go down every year, and we're not going to pay a guy top dollar for that.
The only thing I push back on one is, even if Tyreek Hill loses a little speed,
he's still
faster than everyone else basically in the NFL, which is insane to say. But no, you make a valid point.
I know you said in the beginning, like with the shiftiness with Tyreek Hill, I still think Jamar Chase has like similar shiftiness to Tyreek Hill. Like, I think they're neck and neck right now. Maybe when Tyreek Hill first came in the league, like his first like two years, I would say Tyreek Hill was on another level. But right now, I think Jamar is on his level as far as like shiftiness, quickness, speed, straight line, all that shit.
Overall, who won the trade?
Miami. I like Miami. It's a loss for Kansas City. I can't believe they fucking did this. It's absolutely insane.
If they were in a shitty division, I'd be like, this still sucks, but you can still hold the division, still make a playoff game. Yeah. But you're in the most loaded division, and like you said, everyone's gotten better. They got worse. I give Miami the dub, but if Kansas City hits this out of the park, they could easily win the trade. But how often does that happen? The Vikings had 3 first-round picks: Sharif Floyd, Xavier Rhodes, and Bijan Warner. Doesn't always work. Those picks don't always turn into
and you know what, Max?
Don't turn into anything.
You would say, God damn, look how many picks they gave up. They gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks overall.
6. And 5, right.
Yeah, and only one of them was a first-round pick. They still have, like 3 or 4 first-round picks next year. They still have their picks. They're loaded.
They just played the draft really well, which is always a criticism that teams do. Where like, yeah, you took your guy there, but if you trade down, you get loaded with ammunition. They had ammo to use. They used it on Tyreek Hill. They're not going to get a better receiver in the draft. Dolphins made a move. I don't know if they're at the Bills level one, but they just closed the gap, and the Chiefs widened the gap. I mean, they lessened the gap too. And I guess in a sense, both teams made the gap smaller. The only problem was the Chiefs were on top, Dolphins were on bottom.
Right. And this is like we said, Tua, this is it. This is it. Some teams, they give it one more shot and they give you all the tools that you need. No more excuses. And that's when you find out. You can either end up like Baker, or you can end up kind of like, I don't know, let's say, who's a good example of giving another chance?
I don't know. I'm just trying to give you a segue option.
I mean, he had success. Maybe a guy like Josh Allen, a little bit to an extent. I mean, he did.
I would put it like this one to wrap it up. Before this trade, everyone expected Tua to like pass the test, get like a 75 and pass the test. Yeah. Now we're like, you need to get an A on this test, bro, or it's a failure.
Man, they make it to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. It's time.
I like it though. I'm excited. Let's move on. Let's go to some other quarterbacks, and I got a little transition to do after we talk about him. So Matt Ryan ended up getting traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a 3rd-round pick. I love that for the Colts, by the way. Another quarterback, Jameis Winston, signed. New Orleans Saints. And Marcus Mariota, signed by the Atlanta Falcons. I want to talk about Jimmy, and then we'll talk about Matt Ryan, okay?
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo, with all these teams getting their guy, teams are running out. There's only about 2 teams out there, and there's probably 2 quarterbacks in the NFL circles, not counting the draft picks, the new guys coming in. It's running out. It's Panthers, and there's another team out there.
Seattle. If you want.
That's
if you want to say them, maybe.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, why would Detroit want him? I'm just looking at the teams. Maybe why would Houston want him? They're going to roll with Davis Mills, and yeah, that's it. You have 2 teams. Pittsburgh, but what's the gap between him and Trubisky? So, like you said, It's not just a small market. It's an extremely small, limited market for Jimmy G. Yeah. And one of those teams is in your division. Makes it kind of like, why would you ever trade for them? And one, if I'm an NFL team right now, I'm like, the fuck are you going to trade them? Just let you cut them.
Yeah. Why? And on the bullshit meter that I read a couple of days ago,
I hope this is what I think.
League sources. Apparently, John Lynch has a deal in place on the back burner of 2 second-round picks for Jimmy Garoppolo. We don't know what team it is, but apparently he has a deal. I call bullshit.
If he had that deal, he'd be gone.
It would have been fucking done. I would have been like
1 second-round pick. Honestly, if I saw a deal, I'd call the other team and be like, I think you made a mistake. We'll just take 1 second-round pick, bro. We're not trying to fleece you. That's not fair. Come on.
Right.
That fool's so far, so much, so whatever up. He's just full of shit. I can't even get the words out. Get out of here. This guy sucks. NFL teams don't want a 31-year-old backup, 31-year-old journeyman
that's making over $20 million.
Oh, yeah, we want
coming
this
off
guy.
surgery.
And you know what? I'm going to call Joey out. He's like, oh, there's so many people. I'm like, why? Why would the Falcons want him to help the rebuild? Oh, yeah. I'd rather take a flyer on Mariota. Maybe he just freaking figures it out. He's only 27, 28. Cheaper. I'd rather have him figure it out.
The big thing, do I need Jimmy? Cheaper, keyword. All these guys, cheaper. Look, all these guys I rather take than Jimmy Garoppolo. You can have the argument where Marcus Mariota has been bad in Tennessee, and he's been doing the backup role in Vegas. But I would take Jameis Winston. I would take Matt Ryan, and I would have took Baker Mayfield. I'll take Baker Mayfield over Jimmy. He's less money, number one, and younger. A guy that maybe if you put him in the right situation, he has that second chance. And then to top it all off, like Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, bro. Like, why are you going to sign a guy that's coming off surgery and always gets hurt, overpaid, and then plus you got to overpay for draft picks, apparently? It's a fucking no-go, bro. And everyone thought, oh, Indianapolis is going to be stuck. They're going to be stuck. They ain't get Deshaun. They can't get Deshaun. They can't get Derek Carr. Like, no one's on the table. They're going to be stuck with Jimmy. And the Niners are going to wind up fleecing them because they're going to get desperate. That didn't happen. They got Matt fucking Ryan, who's, in my opinion, I would take over Jimmy Garoppolo every day of the fucking week.
The fact that they got Matt Ryan for a third just makes the Carson Wentz move look even worse. You know how much I love Carson Wentz and still do, kind of. But a first and a second for Carson Wentz when you can have Matt Ryan for a third. And not to mention, the Falcons are okay eating a $42 million dead cap hit, which is the biggest in football history. The Colts, I love the move, but I got to say, Chris Ballard, your ass is on the hot seat. I know it's not his fault. Andrew Luck kind of screwed him, but Phillip Rivers didn't work out. Carson Wentz was a calamity. And now Matt Ryan. But for me, Matt Ryan, it's like a third-round pick. That's it. We'll take it. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a third-round pick for a proven guy who's a top 15 quarterback in the league?
Yeah. Everyone wants to talk about Carson Wentz. If you can talk yourself into Carson Wentz last year,
you can talk.
You can talk yourself, because look, Carson Wentz, he would have won the MVP. He could have won the MVP. Newsflash: Matt Ryan did win an MVP. This is a guy that can get you to the Super Bowl, make a playoff run. Oh, newsflash. Matt Ryan has done a playoff run and actually played in the Super Bowl and was up 28-3 once upon a time.
Sorry,
Has
Falcons
had the
for
number
that.
one offense. I know. But look, Matt Ryan has been fucking steady from day one. You got to look at the situation that Matt Ryan came into the NFL. Like, he came in a situation off of Michael Vick, the Bobby Petrino shit, or whatever his name is, the head coach. Sorry if I'm butchering his name. Yeah, yep. Bobby Petrino, that wound up leaving the team during the season and didn't tell anyone. He left a note on his desk talking about he's quitting. That's what the Falcons were dealing with. They were a dysfunctional franchise, Max. And Matt Ryan came in, dude from fucking Boston College, and took the Atlanta Falcons to the playoffs in his first year. And he's the definition of a franchise quarterback. Yeah, it's wishful thinking with, everyone wants an Aaron Rodgers. Everyone wants a Patrick Mahomes. But every once in a while, you have a very talented guy that has been carrying the franchise for fucking years, like Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, and Matthew Stafford. Because that's the way I see it. Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth. Did he stay in Atlanta a little bit too long and be a little bit too loyal? Yeah, he did. But I think this is the time where he can prove like he's an elite player when he has pieces around him. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but he's a damn good fucking quarterback, man.
If you look at his tenure in Atlanta, 2 NFC championship games, a Super Bowl appearance, you wouldn't take that. An MVP, just never really a question mark. Yeah. I can pull up his stats real quick, and I'm sure there's not going to be any years I'm like, what the fuck happened to Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
He's been a really good quarterback, and it's not his fault. He's not glamorous. He just does his job.
Doesn't miss games.
Doesn't miss games, just does his job. And if the Colts, I think he brings stability. I don't think he's going to retire after this year. I think he's got a year or two left. And yeah, he's lost a little bit off his fastball, but they need stability. Phillip Rivers, when he got there, was washed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was 38. He had lost a ton of arm strength. Matt Ryan still makes plays. He's a little bit more mobile than we give him credit for. He won an MVP. And then the next year, he was arguably better than that year. So, and I know the stats aren't going to say that, but he did more with less. And I like Matt Ryan. I've always thought he's a really good quarterback. He's never got the respect he deserved. Like, the Falcons would draft him 100 times again. Like, they draft him every time after that for what he did for their team. And we've always talked about one. It's like, remember when Marvin Lewis was in Cincinnati and everyone's like, oh, he sucks?
No.
I get he couldn't win a playoff game. But when you turn a laughingstock franchise into a perennial playoff team, that matters. That shows your impact.
Right.
I'm happy for Matt Ryan. I'm happy for the Colts one. I'll leave it like that.
It's why we give, like I said, guys like Derek Carr credit and Matthew Stafford credit. Like, just because a guy has a shitty team around him and doesn't go to the playoffs every year doesn't mean he sucks. Not everyone can be Aaron Rodgers. Not everyone can be so fucking good that it doesn't matter what's around him, he's going to make it to the playoffs. It's not always like that. But I would take a guy like Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, and Derek Carr in a fucking heartbeat. I would take them. And I love the move by the Colts, man. I really do. I think this is the best thing that they could have done besides wishful thinking. I know it wouldn't have happened because they're division rivals, but getting Deshaun Watson. I think that was probably the best other option, because even if you want to say that they would have went all in for Derek Carr, like let's say Carr was on the market and the Raiders were willing to trade him, they were going to have to give up an arm and a leg for Carr, and they were going to have to pay him. Like, I love the fact that they only gave up a third for Matt Ryan.
Can I transition this into something that's not even in our notes, but I just thought of, and I'm kind of curious to see what you think.
Yeah.
Do you think that that the Julio Jones trade last year, a second-round pick, Atlanta got a second-round pick from the Titans for Julio Jones, was worse than the Carson Wentz Colts trade? What's the worst trade? And I get what you're going to say. You're going to say Carson Wentz, you gave up a first. I get that. He was 28-7. I know there were times it looked really bad. Julio Jones barely played for them.
Horrendous.
You trade a second just to cut him after 1 year. At least you got 2/3 for Carson Wentz, maybe a second and a third.
Yeah. It was bad on the Titans' part. It's just the Titans' Colt. I think at the end of the day, though, it's like that. It's a miss, but that miss was kind of on the back burner because they did still make the playoffs. I think the fact that like the way that Carson went down those last two games against the Raiders and especially against the Jags, like fuck, man, that sucks. It looks bad. It looks really bad. I mean, like we said, we thought they were Super Bowl contenders with Carson Wentz.
They looked like it for 4 weeks. He turned it on. He looked good. He looked like he had kind of turned the corner. But I'll play devil's advocate. If I'm a Colts fan, I'm like, hey, Julio didn't do shit for you. You gave up a pretty good draft pick. And we got a second and a third potentially back for him. So we actually recouped some of the loss. Right. And I get they saved some money, the Titans, but you traded a high pick for a guy who didn't do anything for you.
Right. Yeah, it's Chris Ballard doing amazing things with the Colts. I mean, he's been doing it ever since he's got there.
Except for the quarterback position, he has had nothing bad on his resume.
But I think, Max, if you want to, when the dust settles and you look back, you're like, hey, at the end of the season, the way the Colts lost, Max,
was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And then if you look in the future and you're like, hey, what if I told you they're going to transition from Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan? And I tell you all the picks that they wind up getting and what they give up. I'm going to be like, fuck. They kind of did.
Why wouldn't you just trade it for Matt Ryan offhand? I think the fact they got Matt Ryan for pennies on the dollar just makes the Wentz trade look way worse. But they took a big swing.
Yeah,
and they missed.
But I think it was a unique situation, because
I agree with you.
Matt Ryan, the only reason why he was available was because of Deshaun Watson shit. Watson told the Falcons, hey, I might be down with playing with the Falcons in my hometown team.
They probably don't get that a whole lot either. They probably don't.
They're like, oh shit, really? Us? You want to pick us?
Are you sure?
Shit. Yeah, are you sure? Like, hey, Matt, we might get Deshaun Watson. So, hey, about that pay bonus, put that on the back burner.
Matt Ryan's like, all right, I'm going to head out then.
Yeah, exactly. Matt's like, all right, fuck you guys. So, that's how he was available. But, when it's all said and done, I like how the Colts recuperated. Like, they got back up, they licked their wounds and were like, hey, it is what it is, bro.
Let's go try again.
Yeah, let's do this again. Because look, a lazy fucking team will just run it back with Carson Wentz.
100%. 100%.
Like, okay, put the Commandies, as I like to call them, in the Colts situation as last year. 100% they run it back with Carson Wentz. 100%.
I mean, they traded for him, so I would go with that for sure. I also love the Bobby Petrino reference. I feel like it's been a really good week for bad head coaching. Just like news on bad head coaches. So I really liked your reference. That wasn't expected.
What's your thoughts on that, Max? I know we had it off podcast.
I just want to say, man, you're a fucking clown, bro. You are a freaking clown, my guy. Who's this 99 guy? Like, is he good? I mean, he looks pretty good. Like,
he called scouts lazy. He kicked the kicker.
You don't know who Aaron Donald is? Like, you could turn.
They played him late, Max. The Jags played him late in the season.
Oh my god! And they got clapped. And who else did he know? He's like, I'm hearing stuff about Deebo Samuel. Is that good? Well, I don't know. It's a fucking job. Maybe you should stop going.
And at that time, he was like leading the league in receiving. It's like, yeah, who the fuck is Deebo Samuel?
Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is that guy?
Urban Meyer is more and more the stories that are going to come out
about
him.
That's my favorite bad coach ever. Because, like, look, Jimmy Tomsula is a shitty coach. No questions, right?
Right.
Dennis Allen for the Raiders.
Shit.
Dog shit coach.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly for the Eagles at the end was dog shit. But my God, the fact that you don't even know who you're playing You're gonna fire scouts in front of, or fire coaches in front of players. You kicked a kicker. You're a fucking fraud. You don't know how to coach, and you're a bum. I called it from the start. I said, okay, I didn't call him being this bad. I hated it from the start. You'll agree with me. You know I said that.
No, yeah,
But
you hated it from the start. I liked it.
I couldn't believe how, like, I can't believe it's going lower. It's like you're at -5, bro. Keep going.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
I just can't believe you don't know who Aaron Donald is. It was like, I'm hearing, like, the way he said it was like, I'm hearing this guy Donald might be a problem for. I don't know, bro. Do you even know your own fucking team?
If I'm a player, like, how do you look at that? Like, if I'm a player, I'm just like,
you just know, like, you can't blame any player on the Jags last year.
You know what? I kind of give Trevor Lawrence some credit of it could have been a lot worse. As bad as it was, it could have been a lot worse. It's crazy, man.
Dude, when he signed Tim Tebow, I think that's when you were out on the Jags.
Yeah. That's exactly when I was out.
And
when I see that they
were like, Tebow could be something. I'm like, no, he can't. Get out of here.
I'm like, yeah, Urban's over here signing Tim Tebow to make a point about leadership. What the fuck kind of leadership is Tim Tebow gonna bring?
Hey guys, when I was in Florida that one year, we had to, like, people were like, "You play for Florida? I thought you were a baseball player."
It's unbelievable.
I think he's done as a coach forever, and I'm crossing
my
fingers.
So. I hope so. I'm a big Ohio State fan. Fuck Urban Meyers. He is not a good head coach. Let's talk about some more positive stuff besides Urban Meyers, and then we'll let you guys go. I want to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of under the radar, they winded up signing Lyle Collins from the Dallas Cowboys. They're doing the Kansas City Chiefs of last year. They have the worst offensive line. No one can argue in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl.
No, you're right, 100%.
Yeah. And, people tend to fucking forget. Joe Burrow got hurt in the Super Bowl. He got hurt. That happened. Okay.
Knee, right? Or something like that. Or
yeah, he sprained his, like, PCL or MCL or whatever the fuck it is. Their line is bad. And they ended up reconstructing it. They got Lyle Collins, who I'm not a huge fan of, but when you're a team like the Bengals, you got to swing for the fences.
Lyle Collins compared to their old right tackle, Bobby Hart, Jackson Carman, is fucking night and day. Ryan Ramczyk level. As long as you can not just get run over every play, you're an improvement. Honestly, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm kind of scared about the O-line being better, because does Joe Burrow know how to play behind a good offensive line? Is he going to be Baker? Remember Baker when his O-line got good? He's like still looking around like, oh shit, they're coming. And it's like, no, you're good. Right. You're good.
I mean, giving Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase a half a second more is fucking crazy.
And they got Ted Karras from the Bucks. I don't think we ever mentioned it. That's a good guard.
Alex
Kappa. They got Alex Kappa, and they got Ted Karras. They saw a problem one. They're like, we're going to address it. And it's kind of hard to it's like hard to imagine they can have such a magical year, but they got better. They have all their picks. Let's see what the Bengals do, Juan.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Bengals. I love what they did. I like the fact that they didn't sit around and be like, hey, we got this glaring hole. Let's go into the draft with this glaring hole. I forgot who said this. It's a guy that I watch on YouTube. He's really
Max&JuanCast.
I know. I wish. But I think it's Brett Coleman. He breaks down a lot of film. He has a lot of sources in the NFL, a lot of scouts. And he was saying something that made a lot of sense to me. He said a lot of teams, the smart teams, go into the draft without a glaring need going into it, because all those teams wind up just jumping you. It's kind of like the Vikings when they had the wide receiver problem. It's like, oh, we're just going to jump you. We're going to jump you. We're going to jump you. Because everyone knows you need a wide receiver. It's like the Bengals. Everyone knows you need a lineman. So we're just going to jump you in the draft. You want to have as many holes filled up as possible, even if they're a stopping gap, kind of like the Steelers with Mitch Trubisky. It's like, are they going to for sure go quarterback? It's like, oh, we have Mitch Trubisky. It's not like someone's like, oh, yeah, the Steelers are going to definitely – who the fuck else are they going to play at quarterback? It's like, no. It's the same thing with the Bengals. They signed some offensive linemen. Now it's not a for sure thing in the first round. They're gonna go offensive lineman. They can go anywhere now.
They go corner.
Yeah,
linebacker.
and that's the good thing of being the unknown in the draft, not having a glaring hole to the fact that the whole NFL knows it. It's like, yeah, you're gonna go here, kind of like the Packers. Everyone knows they're gonna go receiver.
They better put it like that. Knowing them, they'll be like, we'll just get a linebacker, we'll get a tackle. That'll be good. That should fix. That should make Aaron Rodgers happy.
Right.
The Bengals aren't just sitting on their paws or ass because they're a Bengal joke for everybody, but they're addressing it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
I like it too. Let's talk about the last signing. Zadarius Smith signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Very interesting here. I mean, I don't know if you heard this report, Max, about Danielle Hunter, about how they're thinking about keeping him and paying him his money. I don't know. Like, he had a really bad neck injury last year. So
he's kind of been banged up the last 2 years too.
Right.
It's a lot of money for a guy who can't play. We always talk about, well, if you're not playing, what's the point of you being on the field? I mean, what's the point of you being like a highly paid player?
Yeah. I like Zadarius Smith more on the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like he should have stayed there.
Well, I think it's all about the money because he got a lot more money from that and more guaranteed. It's clear that he was a cap casualty because if he was a medical thing, they would have been a lot more skeptical of giving him that money. I like it, bro. I think the Vikings need pass rusher. I don't think it's going to change things for their team, but they got better. I like the move. I don't love it. It doesn't change the Vikings' future or outlook.
Yeah, most definitely. Any more thoughts, Max, on anything? Jimmy Garoppolo? Where do you
Are we
think
gonna
Jimmy's
have a part
gonna
4?
go?
Do you want to call it?
I hope not. Like, NFL.
If Jimmy D gets
out.
cut, can we have a part 4 just with Joey and talk him off a fucking ledge from a guy who said we can get a first for him? We can get a late first.
It's not gonna happen.
I know. I'm just saying. Is that our part 4? Do we just like have a Jimmy G fucking cut emergency podcast with Joey and talk about how John Lynch should be is a fireable offense?
Right. Yeah. We'll see about that. But
if we do a part 4, who's going to be traded?
Oh man,
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I'm trying to think who's like a trade candidate.
DK
to the Eagles.
Hey, I'm saying it right now. Tyler Lockett, come to Vegas. Go Vegas. Go out and get Tyler Lockett, please.
Oh my. Okay. If Kyler gets traded, we'll do a part 4.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know.
That's a fucking good one.
I'm trying to think, dude. Who would even be in the market for Kyler? Miami?
Not the Patriots.
Do you think Miami has enough trade value for Kyler? Like trade assets? I think they do.
Fuck yeah. They'll take. Would Arizona take Tua?
Dude, I think Cliff would like. I think if they even talked about trading Kyler, Cliff would get on a bridge and be like, "I'll jump if you trade him." Like Cliff would hold them hostage.
That would be fucking insane, dude. Let's end the pod there, man. If anyone is new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that post notifications button so you get notified every time we drop a banger like this one. Part 3 of the NFL free agency, man. Podcast listeners, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you guys get your podcasts, go ahead and subscribe on there. 5-star rate us on there. Comment down below whatever you guys think, any thoughts you guys have on free agency. Thank you for all the support lately, dude.
Keep killing the clips, guys.
Yeah,
man. Awesome, dude.
Most definitely, dude. Hey, draft season coming up. We're gonna have some draft things going on. Me and Max are still in the works of watching some film. I can't wait for that, dude. I cannot wait for the draft, man. I don't care. The Raiders don't have a first round draft pick or a second. I still want to watch the draft.
Maybe there won't be hopefully there won't be a blackout this draft.
Jesus.
You're no G on the Max&JuanCast if you know what I'm talking about.
I know, right? I think that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.